Welcome to Meet Your Nominee. I'm Mariah Gullo from The Hollywood Reporter, and I have Matt Smith with me today. Hi, Matt.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well, thanks. Yeah, good. I'm a bit tired.
Yeah.
I got in yesterday, so I kind of woke up at like 4
wow.
and watched Friends. I watched 3 seasons of Friends from 4:30 to 8:30. I dipped in and out of different ones. Yeah, but
It puts you in a certain mood.
a happy mood.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, congratulations on being nominated for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed.
And The Crown has 13 nominations this year.
Greedy bastards.
And that includes you and Claire Foy and Vanessa Kirby. So how does it feel for you all to be nominated in your final season?
Well, it's very kind of democratic. It's it's good. You know, I'm very proud of the show. I'm proud of the girls as well, and Matt, obviously Matt Good, who plays Tony Armstrong. So yeah, you know, it's nice to be invited to the party.
Yes, and speaking of the party, hypothetical situation.
Hit me.
If you could bring one member of the royal family with you to the Emmys, who would you like to take?
Prince Philip, man.
Of course.
Straight up, Prince Philip. I've never met him. It'd be Prince Philip or Harry, probably.
Right. Yeah, you might have some fun with Harry.
Yeah. Harry's cool, isn't he?
Yeah.
We like Harry, but we like Philip.
Yes, and have you heard? You've heard from like around the gossip train that Prince Philip knows of The Crown.
He knows about it, but he hasn't watched it.
Yeah.
So I'm told. He was asked, and he was like, "Nah, of course not."
Too cool for school.
Yeah, it makes him even cooler in my book.
Yes. What kind of responses have you received from fans of The Crown about Prince Philip? Do you find that they like him or dislike him, or are you surprised by their reaction?
I return that question to you. I mean, look, I love Prince Philip. I found there's a kind of stigma and a misconception about him, particularly in England. I think there's less of a consciousness about him in the States, or at least there was. But in England, there was this idea that he was just this kind of doddering old fool who says the wrong thing. And actually, the research I did was quite sort of contrary to that. He's bright, articulate, funny, very funny, actually. But, you know, from people's response to the series version of Philip, you know, because there's a long way for him to go, obviously, he gets a bit of a bad press. What do you think about Prince Philip?
Well, I mean, having seen the whole of season 2, I think that you get much more of an idea of where he's coming from. And seeing him as a kind of a flawed father figure, I feel a lot of sympathy with him.
Yes, well, of course. No, there's a great kind of deal of tragedy that happened to Philip in his early life, and he was orphaned out, really, essentially. And I think, it's absolutely informed, and he's from a different time as well. You know?
Yeah. Yes.
It was different being a father in those days.
Absolutely.
In many respects.
Yeah. And, you know, that last episode, Pater Familias, it's the penultimate episode.
Yeah.
So how did it feel to get that rich of a background story on Prince Philip so late in your tenure?
I think it's quite a clever sort of move from Peter, really, somehow, because you watch it and then you look back on it and you go, I sort of understand him a bit more. I was just really fascinated, and I mean, like a lot of the show, really, I found I learned a lot that I didn't know about Philip, and similarly a lot that I didn't know about the royal family and its context in the history of Britain and stuff, but particularly Philip and his relationship to the German side of his family. And you know that, like, that they're both related to Queen Victoria.
Yes.
Which is weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
the royal bloodlines are fascinating.
Yeah, really fascinating.
Yeah.
No, you know, but look, I'm biased. I love Prince Philip. I think he's a rock star.
As a young man, your interpretation of Philip.
Yes.
What do you think he valued the most? Fame, notoriety, independence, or love?
Independence was big for him. Not fame, not notoriety. But you know, I think love is big for him. They're still together, and I know there were indiscretions along the way, but ultimately, I think there is a profound, deep connection between the two of them. I think he really makes her laugh. I think he probably wanted notoriety in his own relationship more than he wanted it in. I don't think he craved, fame in the way that we know it now. I mean, he married the most famous woman on the planet then, 100,000 people would turn up to watch them get on a train. Yeah. They were literally the most famous people on the planet. It was insane. But, I think he does value love. I think he got that wrong, and I think that's a testament to the series, really, is that we see him as a deeply, deeply flawed man who made mistakes and was quite selfish at times, but also, he made her laugh and he loved her.
Yeah. Also, speaking of the last episode, Mystery Man.
Yeah.
What were the scenes? What was it like to film those scenes with Claire Foy that were really tense? There's some really tense scenes. There's some really tender scenes. What was that episode like to film?
Well, she's such a brilliant actress, Claire, and such a great friend, actually, now. But those moments are always very interesting as an actor, the difficult parts, do you know what I mean? And actually, he was fighting for his life, really. He was going, God, have I thrown all this away? So there was a lot to play. And Peter very generously wrote very long scenes, which, again, are quite enjoyable to play, although they take quite a long time. But, I hope it's enjoyable to watch because the kind of intricacies and the ballet and the detail of that argument and what they're both fighting for and trying to communicate is very slight. And hopefully, we want it to, that's, when you're in a relationship and that's how it feels sometimes when you're sniping at each other and you're using bits of history and it was trying to land on that somehow. And in that sense, I think hopefully it's a universal thing. It's not just about them being members of the royal family.
Yes, the show has a certain type of acid tongue response with all of the characters.
Yeah.
And you can see it the most between the married couples.
Yeah, and there's that turn of phrase and that ability to be cruel to each other, which I think is true of all of us that are in love, We make mistakes, but you hope that the good ones endure, and I think that's what they've done. And it's important they laugh. They laugh together, like that last moment in episode 10, the one you're talking about, when they're taking the photo and Philip reacts quite strongly. It makes Elizabeth laugh, and I think that says quite a lot about them as a couple.
Yeah, tell me about filming that particular scene, the portrait at the end of
it was cool. It was sort of you can't help but feel quite nostalgic when you're filming a scene like that, because it's the end and all these characters that you spent so much time with and sort of fallen in love with in some way, shape or form, as you do as an actor. And then we all went off that day and had lunch at this amazing Italian, because that scene is filmed in this incredible house in literally right in the middle of London, which the government use, and it's opposite this other amazing house, but it's literally just off. It's sort of in between Pall Mall and Leicester Square. And so there's this amazing Italian restaurant around the corner, and that day we all went for lunch at this restaurant and came back after it. It was nice.
That final scene, everybody is doing something different subtly while they're posing for the portrait. Do you think it's a nod to season 3, or is that final scene kind of a jump start into?
I mean, the truth is I don't know, because I just don't know what happens in season 3.
Right.
I think it's kind of certainly a bookend to season 1 and 2. And also what's clever about it, and it's a testament to Peter really, is that you see like that amazing scene in Home Alone, the first one, when all the family are running around getting ready. It's got a sense of that. It's got a sense of being really familiar and disjointed and troubling, and no one knows where they're meant to stand, and and it's just it's chaos, which is what families eventually are.
Yes. And speaking of your Crown family, have you spoken at all to the new Prince Philip?
Yes,
Tobias Menzies.
I have, because we did a play together, so I know him. And I've spoken to the new Queen as well, because I'm friends with them both. So yeah. Are
you giving them any advice?
No, I wouldn't. I would never presume to. He's such a brilliant actor. That's a great bit of casting, actually. I think he's going to be really great.
Yeah. Do you think he'll ever call on you for things? Even if it's like, oh, these costumes are
Maybe
itchy.
not. But, you know, it's kind of one of those things. It's sort of a bit like when you meet someone who's played the Doctor. You go, you're like in the club.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so me and Tobias can be like, now, what did you think about Buckingham Palace when it, you know what I mean? It's, but I'm just intrigued as a fan to see where it goes.
Yes.
And what happens. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yes. So looking back on your 2 seasons,
yes,
there's so much that happened over that time, from everything from royal family scrutiny to discussions of the cast salaries.
Yeah.
Do you feel like The Crown has had a positive impact on the industry?
I mean, there's 2 questions you're asking. One is about pay disparity, and the other is about, has it been a success in terms of an enjoyable. I hope people have enjoyed and responded to the writing, to the acting, to the costume design, to the creative elements of it, and you know, to the former. You know, I mean, I can't speak to that. I think it's part of a wider conversation, and one hopes it's ignited a seed in all of us that are in this industry, and not just this industry, but across all industries, to reevaluate the way that we remunerate people. And clearly there was a huge mistake made there with Claire, and as far as I understand, Netflix have responded and you know, and dealt with it, and you know, me and Claire are very united. We're great friends on and off screen, and you know, I support her.
Lovely. Last question to you. Your biggest challenge as Prince Philip and your most joyous moment as Prince Philip?
I suppose, you know, the challenge is that Philip is arguably, you know, and this is what I wanted him to be. I sort of wanted him to feel unlikable at times. And sometimes with characters it's easy to not want them to be that. You know, because we all sort of want to empathise with them, and but I wanted him to feel difficult, and that was hard because I just really like him. And the second was the biggest joy.
Yes, the biggest joy.
Claire Foy, probably. I think who's just one of my best pals now, and I had such an amazing time with her, and I just think she's such a brilliant actress, and. She's hilarious. She's just a hilarious human being.
Well, I hope you get to party together on Emmys
We will, you know, hopefully if one of us wins. We will. If not, we'll just go and commiserate over dinner.
There you go. Have a couple of knockbacks on drinks.
Yeah, for sure, always.
Matt Smith, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay. Bye.